One person we have not heard from much is First Lady Melania Trump. Melania did not appear with her husband at either the Super Bowl or the Daytona 500, and her appearance at the inauguration seems to have been squeezed in between regional theater productions of Guys and Dolls.
Trump family were there, Eric was there, Laura, Don Jr., Jared, Ivanka, even Melania showed up, so the Democrats weren't the only people who hate him there.
Late-night television has long served as a stage where humor meets political commentary, and recent events have reaffirmed its power to influence public opinion and cultural narratives. Two of the genre's most celebrated figures, a seasoned host known for his wry observations and a charismatic comedian celebrated for his incisive wit, recently took center stage to address the personal life of a newly elected leader and his spouse. Their performance was not merely a series of jokes, but a meticulously crafted commentary on the state of political leadership, personal integrity, and the blurred boundaries between public and private life in modern governance. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. During a primetime broadcast, the hosts used their platforms to scrutinize the marriage of the president and his wife, drawing on the details of their personal lives to cast aspersions on the authenticity of the relationship. The segment was a tour de force of comedic timing and pointed satire, weaving together humor with a critique of what they perceived as discrepancies between the public image and private behavior of a national leader. The narrative they constructed was one in which the institution of marriage, especially when intertwined with the responsibilities of leadership, is held to a higher standard than most other aspects of public life. The host's commentary did not rely on raw insult, but was built on layers of subtle insinuations and clever wordplay that left little doubt about their perspective. By linking the personal shortcomings of an individual with the broader implications for national leadership, they raised fundamental questions about the interplay of personal morality and the responsibilities of power. Their performance was a dramatic reminder that the conduct of a public figure, particularly one who has ascended to the highest office, is never entirely private. It is subject to the same intense scrutiny that any public institution might endure. This event, marked by a relentless barrage of humor aimed at personal failings, transformed a personal issue into a mirror reflecting larger societal concerns. The choice to focus on allegations of extramarital affairs within a high-profile marriage was not arbitrary. In modern political discourse, personal scandals have often been intertwined with questions about competence, authenticity, and trustworthiness. By focusing on the president's alleged conduct, the hosts underscored an emerging narrative where the personal life of a leader becomes a proxy for his professional reliability. The way in which the segment dissected the relationship revealed a belief that the fabric of political leadership is woven with both public policy and private integrity. In their view, a compromised personal life is emblematic of a broader failure to live up to the responsibilities that come with wielding power. Throughout the performance, the hosts emphasized the symbolic importance of marriage as an institution that ideally reflects commitment, trust, and mutual respect. When a leader is seen as failing to uphold these values in his private life, it casts a long shadow over his public duties. The segment presented the marriage not merely as a personal arrangement, but as an essential component of the national narrative. In this light, the alleged infidelities became emblematic of a deeper betrayal, a failure to honor the vows and the values that are supposed to undergird the nation's ethical standards. The hosts posited that such personal failings can have ramifications that extend far beyond the confines of one household, potentially undermining public trust in the very institutions that govern society. The style of the commentary was emblematic of a particular strain of late-night humor that combines intellectual critique with accessible humor. The host's approach was multifaceted. It was not simply a matter of roasting a public figure, but rather an exploration of the dissonance between the image projected by a leader and the underlying reality of his personal conduct. Their remarks were carefully crafted to resonate with a broad audience, utilizing cultural references, historical analogies, and a sharp understanding of the political landscape. This layered approach allowed the audience to engage with the material on several levels, whether as a humorous diversion or as a critical commentary on the standards to which leaders are held. In their performance, the hosts managed to evoke a spectrum of reactions. For some, The humor provided a cathartic release in a time of heightened political tension. The segment was a reminder that even the most powerful figures are not immune to criticism, and that comedy remains one of the most potent tools for social commentary. For others, it was a stark illustration of the dangers of conflating personal morality with professional competence. The implication that a leader's private indiscretions can or should influence public policy sparked a debate about the role of personal ethics in public office. This tension is at the heart of modern political discourse, where the line between personal conduct and public responsibility has grown increasingly blurred. A closer examination of the performance reveals a deliberate strategy: to use humor as a vehicle for moral critique. The hosts did not merely entertain. They engaged in a form of social commentary that challenges the audience to reconsider the standards by which political leaders are judged. The segment served as a microcosm of a larger cultural shift, where the personal behaviors of those in power are scrutinized not just for their impact on the individual, but for what they reveal about systemic issues. By highlighting the incongruity between the public persona and the private actions of a leader, the hosts invited viewers to question whether the qualities celebrated in political figures, such as charisma, decisiveness, and loyalty, are truly compatible with personal integrity. The implications of this performance extend beyond the immediate political arena. The segment tapped into a broader societal debate about accountability, transparency, and the evolving nature of leadership in an age of instant communication. The host's commentary underscored a growing discontent with a political culture that seems to tolerate, if not embrace, personal failings as long as they do not interfere with the exercise of power. Their performance was a clarion call for a more holistic approach to evaluating leaders, one that does not separate personal virtue from public efficacy. In this view, the personal conduct of a leader becomes an integral part of the dialogue on governance, reflecting deeper questions about the nature of trust and legitimacy in modern society. The segment also served as a reflection of how media can shape political narratives. Late-night television has always been a barometer of public sentiment, and the host's performance was no exception. By turning a personal scandal into a topic of national conversation, the hosts played a role in framing the narrative around leadership and accountability. Their approach was to hold up a mirror to society, showing that the personal lives of those in power are inexorably linked to the health of the nation. The performance did not exist in a vacuum. It was part of an ongoing dialogue about the responsibilities of public office and the importance of maintaining ethical standards. This integration of personal and political narratives underscores the evolving nature of public discourse, where every aspect of a leader's life can become a subject of public debate. One of the most striking elements of the segment was its unapologetic tone. The hosts exhibited a level of boldness that is often characteristic of political satire, refusing to shy away from making pointed critiques, even when they target the very foundation of a leader's public image. The style was assertive, yet it also carried an undercurrent of irony that suggested a deeper commentary on the performative aspects of modern leadership. The public persona of a political figure is constructed through carefully managed appearances and rhetoric, and the host's performance deconstructed this facade with a blend of humor and insight. By doing so, they challenged the notion that a leader's image is immune to scrutiny, revealing instead that even the most meticulously crafted personas can be subject to the relentless lens of public opinion. Beyond the immediate impact on the national conversation, the performance has broader implications for the role of humor in political critique. The hosts demonstrated that comedy can serve as a powerful tool for holding those in power accountable, a tradition that dates back centuries. In an era where political polarization is at an all-time high, humor has the potential to bridge ideological divides by presenting criticism in a manner that is both engaging and thought-provoking. The segment provided a case study in how satire can function as a form of resistance against what many perceive as the erosion of moral and ethical standards in politics. By daring to tackle sensitive issues head-on, the hosts affirmed the enduring role of comedy as a catalyst for social change, even when it means addressing deeply personal aspects of a leader's life. The performance also invites reflection on the responsibilities of those in the media. As purveyors of public discourse, Late-night hosts wield considerable influence over the narratives that shape public understanding of political events. The decision to focus on personal failings, particularly in the context of a high-profile marriage, is a reminder of the power dynamics inherent in media coverage. The host's approach was not to merely sensationalize scandal, but to use it as a lens through which to examine broader societal issues. Their commentary challenges the audience to consider whether personal indiscretions should detract from the substantive policy issues that dominate political debate, or whether they are indicative of a deeper disconnect between the ideals of leadership and the reality of human behavior. This kind of media intervention also highlights the complex relationship between entertainment and politics. In a media landscape saturated with information, the line between news and entertainment has become increasingly blurred. The segment is emblematic of a trend where entertainment figures take on the role of informal political commentators, using humor to distill complex issues into digestible narratives. This blending of genres has significant implications for how the public perceives both political events and the media itself. The host's ability to engage viewers with humor while simultaneously offering a critical analysis of leadership reflects a broader shift in the way political discourse is mediated. It is a reminder that in the modern era, the channels through which political commentary is delivered are as influential as the content itself. At its core, the segment was a multifaceted exploration of the intersection between personal behavior and public responsibility. The hosts used humor as a means to challenge the conventional wisdom that separates a leader's private life from his public duties. Their commentary suggested that the values embodied in a personal relationship, loyalty, fidelity, and mutual respect, are not merely private concerns, but are reflective of a leader's overall character and, by extension, his capacity to govern effectively. The performance implied that when a public figure fails to adhere to these values, it raises serious questions about his ability to inspire confidence and maintain the ethical standards expected of someone in a position of power. The discussion sparked by the broadcast illuminated the deep-seated cultural expectations placed on political figures. In many societies, there exists an implicit understanding that those who hold public office are not only responsible for crafting policy, but also for upholding a moral standard that serves as a model for the citizenry. When a leader is perceived as falling short of this standard, it can lead to a crisis of legitimacy, a situation in which the very foundations of trust in public institutions are called into question. The host's remarks tapped into this sentiment, urging viewers to consider whether personal shortcomings in the realm of fidelity and trust might have broader implications for the integrity of governance. The notion that a leader's personal indiscretions can undermine the collective trust placed in public institutions resonated deeply with an audience that is increasingly skeptical of traditional power structures. The event also highlighted the evolving nature of political accountability. Traditional mechanisms of political oversight, such as formal investigations and legislative scrutiny, are increasingly supplemented by informal channels of public opinion and media commentary. The host's performance is a prime example of how humor and satire can serve as vehicles for accountability, offering a form of critique that is accessible to a wide audience while simultaneously challenging entrenched power dynamics. By taking aim at the personal life of a leader, the hosts underscored the idea that no one is beyond reproach, and that the qualities of leadership extend into every facet of one's life. This form of accountability is not institutional in the conventional sense, but is a powerful reminder that the court of public opinion remains a critical arena for evaluating the worthiness of those in power. In addition to its immediate political commentary, the segment serves as an illustration of the broader cultural impact of late-night television. The medium has a unique ability to capture the zeitgeist, reflecting and shaping public attitudes toward authority and governance. The host's decision to focus on the intimate details of a leader's personal life was both provocative and emblematic of a growing trend in media: the willingness to confront taboo subjects in the service of a larger moral critique. This approach, while controversial, is indicative of a broader cultural shift where humor is leveraged to question long-standing power structures and to advocate for greater transparency and accountability. The performance was a bold declaration that in a society where every facet of a public figure's life is subject to scrutiny, the truth about leadership may be found in the most unexpected places. The implications of such a performance are manifold. On one level, it reinforces the idea that political leadership is an inherently holistic endeavor, where personal virtues are inextricably linked to public performance. The segment challenged the conventional compartmentalization of a leader's personal and professional lives, suggesting instead that the two are mutually reinforcing. This perspective is especially relevant in an era when the personal conduct of those in power is increasingly under the microscope, and when the standards of public accountability extend beyond policy positions to encompass the very character of the individual. The host's approach invited viewers to adopt a more integrated view of leadership, one that holds its leaders accountable not only for their decisions in the public arena, but also for their behavior in private. The performance also resonated on a psychological level. Humor has a unique ability to disarm and to open up space for critical reflection. The host's method of using comedy to address serious issues tapped into a long tradition of using satire as a means of coping with societal stress. Their jokes, while sharply critical, also offered a kind of communal catharsis, a way for the audience to confront their own disillusionment with the established order. In a time when political polarization and public distrust are rampant, such moments of levity can serve as a vital counterbalance, offering a temporary respite from the relentless barrage of negativity that characterizes contemporary political discourse. The performance, by channeling humor into a form of social commentary, created a space where critical ideas could be examined in a less adversarial, more reflective manner. In its essence, the segment was a demonstration of the transformative power of satire. The hosts not only entertained, but also challenged entrenched narratives about leadership, loyalty, and the expectations placed upon those who hold the nation's highest office. Their performance underscored the belief that humor is not merely a form of escapism, but a potent tool for social critique. By turning the spotlight on the intimate dynamics of a high-profile marriage, they forced viewers to reconsider what qualities are most important in a leader. The segment suggested that beyond political maneuvering and public relations, the personal virtues of honesty, commitment, and integrity are essential components of effective leadership. The cultural resonance of this performance cannot be understated. It touched on a number of critical themes that continue to shape contemporary debates about the role of public figures in society. It questioned the integrity of leadership in a way that was both incisive and relatable, using humor to bridge the gap between the lofty ideals of public service and the messy reality of human behavior. In doing so, it opened up a dialogue about the expectations we have for those in power and the ways in which personal shortcomings can ripple out to affect broader societal norms. The performance was a reminder that, in a democracy, accountability is not solely the domain of institutions, but is also driven by the collective conscience of the people. The event's focus on the alleged infidelities of a national leader was particularly potent because it intersected with ongoing conversations about gender, power, and respect. The portrayal of a high-profile marriage as a reflection of a leader's character underscored the idea that the personal lives of those in power are subject to a scrutiny that extends beyond mere gossip. It was a reminder that the values embodied in a marital relationship, commitment, trust, and mutual support, are seen as essential qualities for anyone entrusted with the stewardship of a nation. By highlighting these qualities, the hosts invited the public to consider whether the personal behavior of a leader aligns with the ethical standards that are expected in a position of great responsibility. The use of humor to address these sensitive topics was both daring and effective. It provided a means to discuss difficult issues in a manner that was palatable to a wide audience. The performance managed to transform what might have been a deeply personal matter into a topic of national relevance, prompting viewers to think about the broader implications of personal conduct on the integrity of leadership. The host's ability to weave together personal criticism with a larger commentary on political responsibility was a testament to their skill as communicators, and it served to highlight the power of media to shape public discourse in profound ways. Throughout the broadcast, the interplay of comedy and critical commentary was evident in every carefully timed remark and observational quip. The performance was not an isolated incident, but rather a culmination of years of evolution in the art of political satire. It built on a tradition of challenging authority through humor, drawing on historical precedents and contemporary concerns alike. The resulting dialogue was both entertaining and intellectually stimulating, providing a space for the audience to engage with the complexities of modern leadership in a manner that was both humorous and deeply reflective. The impact of the performance is likely to be felt in the broader cultural conversation about leadership and accountability. By placing the spotlight on the personal life of a leader, the host challenged viewers to think critically about the qualities that define effective leadership. Their commentary served as a catalyst for discussions about the relationship between personal morality and public duty, encouraging a re-examination of long-held assumptions about the separation between private life and public responsibility. In doing so, they contributed to a growing body of thought that sees the personal virtues of honesty and fidelity as integral to the legitimacy of political authority. This exploration of personal conduct in the realm of national leadership has profound implications for the future of political discourse. It suggests that the boundaries between personal and professional life are not as clear-cut as they once were, and that the values we hold dear in our personal relationships can serve as a benchmark for evaluating the actions of those in power. The host's performance was a vivid illustration of this idea, using humor to challenge the notion that a leader's private life is off-limits to public scrutiny. It prompted a re-evaluation of the criteria by which we judge those who govern, suggesting that personal integrity and moral consistency are not merely desirable qualities, but are essential to the exercise of power. The event also raises important questions about the role of media in a democracy. Late-night television, with its blend of humor and political commentary, has emerged as a powerful counterbalance to traditional news outlets. By providing a platform for critique that is both entertaining and intellectually rigorous, the hosts demonstrated that comedy can be a force for accountability and social reflection. Their performance was a reminder that in a media landscape where the lines between news and entertainment are increasingly blurred, the power to influence public opinion rests not only with political institutions, but also with those who shape the narrative through humor and satire. The event, with its incisive commentary and bold humor, has set the stage for a renewed conversation about the responsibilities of public office. It challenged the notion that a leader's personal life is a private matter, arguing instead that the intimate details of one's relationships can have profound implications for the trust and confidence that the public places in its leaders. In a time of significant political polarization and cultural shifts, the performance served as a wake-up call, urging society to reconsider what it truly means to lead. It is an invitation to look beyond the surface of political rhetoric and to demand a level of personal accountability that is commensurate with the power and influence of those in high office. The broadcast was a vivid illustration of how humor can be harnessed to probe the deeper currents of societal expectation and political legitimacy. It underscored a growing sentiment that the personal behavior of those in power is not merely a matter of private concern, but is integrally linked to the public trust that underpins democratic governance. The hosts used their comedic platform to challenge conventional wisdom, suggesting that the erosion of personal integrity can have ripple effects that extend well beyond the confines of an individual's private life. Their commentary was a call to recognize that leadership, in its truest form, demands a consistency of character that permeates all aspects of one's life. Through their deliberate and carefully orchestrated performance, the hosts offered a powerful critique of a political system that often seems to overlook the personal failings of its leaders in favor of a sanitized public image. Their approach was a reminder that no amount of public relations spin can fully obscure the fundamental truths about human behavior. The performance invited viewers to question whether the qualities that are celebrated in political rhetoric, such as strength, decisiveness, and loyalty, are truly compatible with a lifestyle marked by personal indiscretions. It was a call for a more honest and transparent dialogue about what constitutes effective and ethical leadership. In examining the performance and its implications, it becomes clear that the broadcast is more than a moment of entertainment. It is a reflection of a broader cultural movement that seeks to hold public figures accountable for every facet of their lives. By using humor to dissect the personal dimensions of leadership, the host demonstrated that the arena of political critique is expansive and inclusive. Their commentary provided a framework for understanding that the virtues required for effective leadership extend far beyond the confines of policy debates and governmental procedures. They are rooted in the everyday values that govern personal relationships and communal trust. The performance has carved out a space in the ongoing dialogue about the role of personal conduct in public life. It has challenged traditional narratives by asserting that the intimate details of a leader's personal relationships are not peripheral concerns, but are central to the assessment of his capacity to serve the nation. This approach redefines the parameters of political accountability, suggesting that the measure of a leader's worth is as much about his personal ethics as it is about his public achievements. In doing so, the broadcast has contributed to a broader reevaluation of the qualities that are deemed essential for leadership in contemporary society. The transformative power of humor, as demonstrated by the hosts, lies in its ability to distill complex issues into relatable narratives. The performance tapped into a deep-seated need for authenticity in leadership, challenging the carefully constructed images that often dominate political discourse. By highlighting the discrepancies between public persona and private behavior, the host provided a critical lens through which to view the institution of leadership. Their commentary invited the audience to engage with the notion that true leadership is rooted in the alignment of words and actions, both in the public arena and behind closed doors. The implications of this performance extend well into the realm of cultural identity and collective expectation. It has sparked a conversation about the standards by which leaders are judged and the importance of personal integrity in the maintenance of public trust. The host's unyielding critique of a leader's personal conduct has set the stage for a deeper inquiry into the nature of power and the responsibilities that come with it. The performance underscored the idea that leadership is not an abstract concept confined to the corridors of power, but a dynamic interplay of personal virtues and public accountability. The bold approach taken by the hosts represents a significant moment in the evolution of political satire. It underscores the belief that comedy is not merely a source of entertainment, but a formidable tool for social critique and moral reflection. Their performance highlighted the urgent need for a more integrated understanding of political leadership, one that embraces the full spectrum of human behavior. It challenged the audience to reflect on the true meaning of accountability in a society where the personal and the political are inextricably linked. The commentary was both a celebration of the power of humor and a profound critique of a political culture that often shies away from confronting uncomfortable truths. The exploration of these themes through the lens of comedy has the potential to leave a lasting impact on the way political figures are perceived and held accountable. It has sparked an intellectual conversation that goes beyond the immediacy of the broadcast, urging the public to consider the broader implications of personal behavior on the collective trust that sustains democratic institutions. The performance was a declaration that no leader is above scrutiny, and that the qualities of integrity and commitment are indispensable for anyone entrusted with the fate of a nation. By boldly addressing issues that are often relegated to the realm of gossip, the hosts have underscored the idea that personal conduct is a critical element of public life. Their performance stands as an enduring testament to the transformative power of humor in the realm of political commentary. It has challenged conventional narratives and invited a renewed dialogue about the responsibilities of leadership, emphasizing that the values celebrated in personal relationships are essential to the effective functioning of a democratic society. The performance, with its blend of sharp wit and incisive analysis, has left an indelible mark on the cultural landscape. It is a vivid illustration of how humor can be harnessed to challenge the status quo, offering a counter-narrative to the sanitized portrayals often presented by traditional media outlets. The segment served as a reminder that in an era of rapid information flow and heightened political awareness, the personal lives of public figures are a matter of collective concern. It challenged viewers to think critically about the nature of leadership and to demand a level of transparency and accountability that reflects the high standards expected of those in power. The interplay between humor and critique in this performance has provided a fertile ground for reimagining the role of political commentary in contemporary society. It has shown that even the most personal aspects of a leader's life can become a subject of meaningful debate when viewed through the lens of satire. The host's ability to transform a personal controversy into a broader discussion about the nature of power and responsibility is a testament to the enduring relevance of comedy as a tool for social critique. Their performance has opened up new avenues for understanding how personal behavior and public duty are interlinked, inviting viewers to engage with the complexities of modern leadership in a fresh and compelling way. In summary, the recent broadcast where two celebrated late-night hosts dissected the personal life of a newly elected leader and his spouse was a masterclass in political satire. It revealed the intricate dance between personal ethics and public responsibility, using humor to highlight the discrepancies between a leader's public persona and his private actions. The performance underscored the belief that leadership is not solely defined by policy decisions, but is also reflected in the everyday choices and values that guide personal relationships. By scrutinizing the alleged infidelities and marital shortcomings of a national leader, the hosts challenged the audience to rethink the criteria by which they judge those in power, insisting that true leadership demands a synthesis of personal integrity and public competence. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on Kimmel and Colbert's take on Trump and Melania's marriage? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.